Hey there, building the third tunnel today. Super excited, got the dream team here. Kate and Gene are here helping out. And this isn't gonna be a video specifically about how to build these tunnels because I've made those videos already. I'll leave them linked down below. But I wanna give you a chance to follow along today and I'll just keep you guys posted about what's going on. This tarp here has been down for a few months. I don't even remember when we put it down, but we should be good with killing everything that's here. And so the first thing is we're gonna cut this in half and then we're gonna put down the ground posts and start building the tunnel. Game plan with the tarp is this is a 32 by 105 and we're gonna cut it down the middle lengthwise so we have two 16 by 105s and that way we can tarp individual tunnels perfectly and that covered the space for the time being really well as well. So we just measured to try to figure out where the middle is and actually there's a seam in the middle so that's gonna be very helpful. We're just gonna cut this in half and then we should be able to move forward with this. All right, just wanna show you how well the silage tarp worked. It basically killed everything here. And I'm gonna be talking about a lot of Farmer's Friend products in this video because that's what I use here on the farm. Video is not sponsored by Farmer's Friend, but I'll leave links down below for all the products that I'm using. You can see here how well it killed everything. And you can also see that the soil is very different. This is an area that did not have beds in the past, so the soil is much more red, a lot more clay. But frankly, there's nothing growing here, which is great. And because we already tilled before we tarped, there's no reason to disturb the soil. We'll probably broad fork it before we build our lasagna beds, but otherwise, should keep the weed pressure really low. What you see in the front of the frame here is a bunch of overgrown grass and stuff that just grows here. My mower broke recently, and that's a whole other story, but yeah, we're gonna have to manage that as well, and probably wood chip this whole pathway over here, but Gene and Kate are cutting the silage tarp in half, and things are going really well. I'm really excited. This looks absolutely fantastic. All right, Kate, so cutting the tarp, was that like cutting wrapping paper when like the scissors glide?
Pretty much.
All right, what do you find over here?
Some little bit of wildlife.
All right, yeah, there's always wildlife here. What do we got here?
Big frog.
Look at this frog. What's up, buddy?
Oh my gosh.
Got the string line up and starting to bang in the rebar. And it was pretty quick to set up just because we did all the prep work ahead of time when we dug the trenches and got all the groundwork done and before we put the tarp on, we got everything straight and measured out. So we have the whole pad basically set up for the tunnel where it's going in and the ditches are dug and everything. So putting out the string lines was quick and everything's still lined up as we left it. So that was really nice. We did all the groundwork ahead of time, didn't disturb it. So it's nice and ready to go now. I'm just putting together these are the little plates that go over the rebar that the rope attaches to. Just putting these together. Gene and Kate are getting those posts in right now and it's moving along really quickly. It's really nice to have done this a few times. Every time you do it, it gets a little faster and more confident and just don't have to waste nearly as much time thinking about things and it just goes a lot more smoothly. You don't order things have to happen in, that kind of stuff. Things are going really well, nice and smooth. Having a couple of big heavy hammers helps a lot. But quick work of this and hopefully get those hoops up pretty soon. Got all the rebar in, went super smoothly. We just moved the tarp to the middle here because when we're done with setting up the tunnel, we're just gonna keep this tarp out on the ground in here. So we got all the hoops ready. I did that yesterday, let me show you. Well, I knew that Kate and Gene were coming over today. So what I did yesterday was put all these hoops together in piles and it's all organized. If you can do that ahead of time, it just saves so much more time when people are here. But again, if you had more people, you could be doing this at the same time the posts were going in. But yeah, overall, one thing I changed this time is the cross braces, they have the little clamps that go on there. I just slid them on before I put all the hoops together. That way I didn't have to bend them and stuff and it worked pretty well. Same as usual, just carry these down and put them in place. Got the hoops up, went super smoothly. Started one at a time, went to two at a time, but yeah, it's so satisfying getting the hoops up. So we're gonna start working on the ridge pole now and the wind bracing and all that kind of stuff. All right, so we got pretty much all the hard work done today. There's only one thing left and that's putting that wiggle wire channel on the end hoops, which doesn't take too long and I'll get to that soon. But we didn't work all day, probably mid-afternoon now. And so if you're curious about how long it takes, it doesn't take that long to put these things up. So yeah, we got all the hoops up, the center purlin's up and spaced out properly and tightened down. The wind bracing on the ends are done and we're in good shape for sure. One thing that I'm really excited about, not just having a third tunnel to grow in, but the plan with the tarp is working out really well. As I mentioned, we have a 32 by 105 tarp that I cut in half, so I have two 16 by 105 pieces. And that was part of the original plan, was to have two tarps that are 16 by 105 so I can tarp a whole tunnel at a time. So next summer, if I want to just tarp 2 tunnels, I have 2 tarps that fit perfectly. So it's going to work out well. This is covering the space really well. I'm just keeping it covered until we start building beds in here. But we're in really good shape. All right, well, big thanks to these two. It's always fun getting together, especially doing projects like this. If you guys don't remember, Kate was an intern at Raleigh City Farm last year, and one thing she didn't get a chance to do was build tunnels, so she's here. And you know this guy, the man, the myth, the legend.
Hair look?
Hair looks great, Gene.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for all the help today, guys. All right, so big thanks obviously to Gene and Kate. I love hanging out with them. I haven't seen Kate in a while, but she's an amazing young woman and an amazing farmer, and just a great person to hang out with and to do some work with. We've obviously spent a lot of time together at Raleigh City Farm last year, as she was one of my interns. There's definitely some videos with Kate. I'll put one down below if you guys want to check it out. But overall, I'm really happy with the overall plan here, and it's really nice to make sure that you take your time with planning. I think one of the big things that is really exciting when it works out is a good plan. And so by picking the size of the tarps, for example, it's one of those things where if you think ahead of time for possible expansion, right? Because we had the thought that maybe we'd do this, so everything worked out well in terms of placement here, but also in terms of the size of fuel blocks or tunnels and things like that. If you're trying to standardize things in terms of irrigation, row cover, insect netting, silage tarps, like think ahead and make sure that things are streamlined so you're not having to buy things multiple times and everything can work in every kind of place and those kinds of things. So again, if you haven't been following along, the reason why I'm putting in a 3rd tunnel here is because I'm going to be taking next summer off, and so I need more tunnel space to grow in the winter time when things grow slowly. So this will all get, the compost is going to come in, I think late October, early November. We'll start building beds out here and we'll plant that probably in early November. And all the food that's going to be in here is going to be harvested probably in like February, March, because things grow so slowly in the winter time. So this is really to feed that hunger gap months, and this should be just awesome for my winter, and the spring should be just absolutely crazy having 3 tunnels. So I personally don't think with my part-time farming I'd be successful growing 3 tunnels in the summertime. It's just too much going on, but in the wintertime when things grow slowly, I can handle it. But anyways, great start on the tunnel today, guys. I'm absolutely pumped. Hopefully you guys are crushing it out there, and for me, I'm really feeling like after having kind of a rough summer that fall is kind of my spring, and maybe I'll make another video about that. But hope you enjoyed this. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit subscribe if you're not already, and we'll see you in the next one.